world seen enough budget button locks? Well, here's the deal. If this is what budget button lock means, then no, we definitely haven't seen enough, because these are flippin' excellent, and I want to tell you all about it. First, let me say that this is the first time that I've ever touched anything from Artisan Cutlery. Now, CJRB is their budget line of knives, and each of these came with a really, really nice case, by the way. They have definitely upped the game as far as cases are concerned. This has a nice fleece inner, and there's actually 2 pockets, so you can use it for a lot more than other cases, so really cool. But this, if this is what CJRB is all about and Artisan Cutlery, then yeah, I was missing out for sure. And this is not going to be the first time you've seen these. I'm sure other people have reviewed them. This is just my experience. Now, I have tried button locks from Civivi, from Vostede, from a few other brands. And there's some inherent issues with button locks, mostly relating to the bounce that occurs when you close them. And by that, what I mean is if you flick them, see, okay, here's the problem. This knife is so good, I can't, okay, let me just, yeah, there we go, here. See that? It's that bounce? That's I'm holding the button. That bounce is both the reason they're fun, but also the reason they're a little annoying. So it becomes a game of making sure that you let go of the button at the right time. But a good one with the good detent on the button with a proper spring tension is a lot more difficult to get into that position where it kind of bounces on you. And what we're talking about here is purely enjoyment factor relating to opening and closing a knife. If that's not your thing, you should stay away from budget knives, because they are like the literal definition of fidget toy tools, okay? These are super fun to play with. In fact, they're compulsive. It's very, very difficult to stop doing it. And between these two and pretty much every other button lock I've ever seen, this knife right here, the pyrite, which everyone has been talking about, is everything they have said. In fact, this is the best action I have ever seen on a button lock under $60. It's ridiculous. It almost has no bounce. Very, very little compared to all the others. And let me bring in a couple so you can see what I'm talking about. So up until this point, the best one that I have experienced is the Vostede Raccoon. And it really does come down and stay. It's really, really nice. Okay? The first one I ever tried was this. This is the Cogent. And the Cogent was one of the earliest button locks made by Civivi. They're the ones who kind of kicked this whole trend off. And as everyone has said, the spring tension on this was not that great. It's just not strong enough. It's not bad, but still not ideal. They came out with the Elementa button lock. This one is only button capable, so it's locked in closed and open position. It's a fantastic knife, in fact, with a great hollow grind. And they definitely fixed the spring tension quite a bit. It's excellent on this knife. But it doesn't have the ability to be flicked open. It doesn't have multiple opening mechanisms. These feel like it's an advantage on some level to not be first. And so CJRB clearly has been looking and saying, oh, how can I improve and get this tuned in? They probably have handled some of these other knives. And they really got it right on the tension and everything else. It is just beautiful what they have done with this. And these knives, both of these knives, are under the $60 price point, and they're both in AR RPM 9. And if you're not familiar with that is, okay, that is a powder metallurgy steel, meaning that they have a better composition, meaning usually a better toughness, of 9CR, I think it's 9CR17, 9CR18 MOV, that's what it is. And that's a very similar formulation to 440C, but the one thing that 440C doesn't have is a lot of toughness. So no one has really tested the toughness of this steel, as far as I know, but in theory, making it powder metallurgy, meaning that all the carbides and so on are all really, really small, would make it much, much tougher in theory. And I could get behind a budget steel that has all the characteristics of 440C, but also has increased toughness. That's what we're working with, and that's a really good starting point. And this knife, which should look familiar because it looks like so many other knives out there, like a ton of other knives, is probably about as close to perfection as we will get in budget knives at just about $50. $50 for this is, well, it's ludicrous, to be honest. If this sets the bar at $50, I think other companies are really going to have to step it up. Vosteed's pretty much in good shape, 14C28N, excellent on the action. They're going to be fine. I think that Civivi is absolutely going to be okay. But at this point, with all the different brands that are out there, where's the space for other brands to do this perfectly? This is a very scary knife to be compared to. I think a lot of companies are going to struggle to compete with the pyrite. I think that's pretty well stated across the board. Everyone has pretty much said that. There is a certain knife from Civivi that I can't show yet that is pretty damn close. In fact, I would even argue as good. Not better, but as good. I can't show you yet. But this offering from CJRB is one of the best budget knives that I have touched over the last year, for sure. It is phenomenal. That's $50. That is completely crazy for a state where we have increased supply costs, and yet somehow a company can produce this quality of work at that price point. Well done, CJRB. I'm very much looking forward to trying more knives from this company and also learning a lot more about this steel. I talked to a couple of people. I reached out to Neves Knives, and it seems that this is a good steel. It's had shown very good performance in recent memory after they've perfected the heat treat. That is something I want to mention. You might be looking up that steel now, and you will find videos that actually involve the first few knives that were released in this steel. And I would love to see them redo those testing to see if they have improved on their heat treat. My guess is yes, because a lot of people that played with the knives later have really, really liked it. I don't think there's much more to say that hasn't already been said about the pyrite, but this is really, really impressive. So thanks again, and we'll talk soon.